Alright, welcome to episode 2 of The Game Room. So I want to talk about The Punisher plus Cage. It's part of a good series where Punisher, he fights his nemesis Jigsaw as usual, but Jigsaw jumps him in prison and they fuck up his face because, Jigsaw's face is all fucked up, so they want to fuck his up. And it was so bad that when Punisher escaped prison, he found this basically crackhead doctor chick, and I'll show you a picture, I guess, and she decided to make him black, like he had to get plastic surgery, and so she made him a black dude. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, that's the doctor, and then that's the black Punisher. And it's funny because all that was fucked up was his face, but they made him all black, like his hands and everything was all black. So I don't know, the crackhead doctor probably just had a thing for black dudes or whatever, but she said it was just so that no one would recognize him. But it's like, you could have put another face of the same race on him. Not that it's a big deal or anything, but it's just funny that they made him black. And then he got pulled over by the police because they were, racially profiling. This must have been around the time of Rodney King or something, because they whoop his ass on the freeway. But then he gets up and bam! He hits the cops. He fights back. And then Luke Cage comes. Luke Cage, he's a Marvel hero. He's indestructible. Bullets bounce off of him. Always listens to Wu-Tang and lives in Harlem. He's a dope-ass character. But he comes, saves Black Punisher. And he doesn't know it's the Punisher. Because usually I think Luke Cage doesn't like the Punisher. So anyways, he takes him to Harlem, where, Luke Cage lives. And then Punisher has to live in Harlem, like in the hood, with Luke Cage. And it just reminds me of Richard Pryor when he taught Gene Wilder back in the 80s in that one movie, To Be Black. Because that's basically what Luke Cage does. He just shows the Punisher the hood life. And I love it, because the Punisher needs that. He needs that perspective, because he's always gunning down all these hoodlums, and I don't think he gives them the chance that he should sometimes. Some people are just misguided. It can't be just shooting every gangbanger. But, yeah, so it's just a humorous. I mean, nowadays, I don't know if this comic would be able to hit the printing press, because, yeah, blackface kind of stuff. It's just funny. I dig it. And I like that they throw, like, this writer, whoever wrote this one, he has a funny sense of humor, too. Because, like, Indianapolis is 420 miles away. And so 420 and just other little things are woven in there. So, anyways, it's a good one. Like I said, check it out if you want. But, yeah, it's funny. But while we're at it, I do want to talk about anti-heroes. Some people might not even know what an anti-hero is. It's basically someone who takes justice, like a vigilante, and takes it into their own hands, but maybe does it a way that other people disapprove of. They take it too far. Punisher, for example, he kills people, And some people, you gotta see his point of view sometimes. Some of those criminals, they're gonna go to prison, not improve at all. They're gonna go back and kill someone or whatever. It happens all the time. Someone actually just recently in Colorado, dude was supposed to do a certain amount of time in the prison. They let him out early and he ended up killing a cop. Just horrible. It happens all the time. People get let out early and then they end up killing someone. Not saying, vigilantism is right, but the Punisher, that's how he sees it. He sees it if someone doesn't stop them cold in their tracks, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. But he doesn't give, like I said, some people a chance. Like Daredevil. He's also a anti-hero because he goes and he whoops people's asses. But at the same time, he lets them live, and a lot of times he sees that, they're not a bad person and stuff, and he looks into it. Punisher, sometimes he doesn't look into it enough. So that's the difference between Daredevil and Punisher. Those two actually don't like each other, sometimes because of their difference in killing and not killing. So Punisher, like I said, badass. He's dope for, certain reasons, and for that, ultra get it done mentality. But at the same time, you can't go around killing everyone. But, again, for comics, it's fun. It's a good anti-hero to have. And I like that Daredevil and Punisher or anti-heroes, and they have the villain Bullseye in common. They always are fighting him. And Bullseye is my favorite villain, man. If you gotta like a villain, Bullseye is one of the top because he's a villain. He's crazy. He's a lunatic. He kills just whoever. He doesn't care. He laughs about it. It's whatever. He's kind of a badass too in the fact that one comic he threw a fucking toothpick and fucking killed someone a block away basically through a glass window and shit. Like he can fucking throw crazy things. I like this cover a lot, but this is one of the Punisher verse Bullseye comics, and they have a few series together, and they're really good. Pretty brutal. So if you're looking for like an intense battle sequence, like kind of comic, Punisher versus Bullseye is always good. And you do have to watch out, parents. If you're getting comics for your kids, there are X or like R-rated comics, like Max. If you see Max there, it's not safe probably for your kids. Like I'm not gonna let my kids, if I ever have kids or whatever, read these until they're way way older because it's just too graphic, and yeah, it's just too much stuff. There's nudity and all sorts of stuff in these. But this is another really good Bullseye versus Punisher, and it's fucking intense. Like there's a part where I think Bullseye pukes on the Punisher's face and stuff, and it's crazy. So, and for those of you who don't know, this is a comic book. This is a comic. A comic is part of a series or a comic book. So, yeah. And, comics are cool. Try to get the paper copies because, I don't know, it's doper, I think. I get them sometimes on the phone, but it's just not the same. The artwork is where it's at when it comes to comics and stuff, man. And the artwork is way better when it comes in paper form. So, anyways, yeah, anti-heroes are just dope, though. Just because, they're a mix of good and bad. And it's like Han Solo from Star Wars. He's kind of an anti-hero, too. He's that rogue. He doesn't want to do, what the good people want sometimes. And he does stuff for bad guys sometimes. But then he, in the end, is heroic because deep down inside he's got the... But these anti-heroes usually have some kind of traumatic or just rough past that made them this way. They're misunderstood. And maybe their antics are unorthodox, but they're efficient most of the time because of their personality and attitudes that they've developed from their traumatic pasts and stuff. So anti-heroes are dope because they have the most personality, the most substance, I would say, too. So, yeah. Yeah, and this is the game room. There's more to it, but this will be a more frequent thing now that we have better equipment. And yeah, check out Into the Looking Glass if you're into trippy conspiracy stuff.